mis amores, and welcome back to another episode of Mornings with Fer, hosted by Fernanda Davila. I hope your day is going absolutely amazing so far. We will be diving into a game-changing method that can revolutionize your daily routine and put you on the path for success. That is the 5-second rule. I've been using the 5-second rule for approximately the last 6 months, and it has changed my life. Recently, I had a friend share out a podcast to me by Mel Robbins, and I realized that the 5-second rule is actually a thing. It blew my mind, and I cannot wait to share this with you. What is the 5-second rule? It is a simple yet very powerful technique developed by Mel Robbins, where you count down from 5 to 1 to overcome hesitation and propel yourself into action. When you have the impulse to take on a goal or a task, you are going to use this countdown to create a mental push to help bypass the brain's resistance and jump into action. For example, when I started waking up at 4 in the morning, it was so hard for me in the beginning because I would snooze. I feel like everybody snoozes. And sometimes because you snooze so much, you are letting that keep you away from the life of your dreams or the reality that you would like to live. So when I started to wake up at 4 in the morning, instead of snoozing multiple times, I literally heard the alarm go off that one time, and I took a deep breath. I counted from 5 to 1, and like a rocket ship, I would launch out of the bed because I realized that every time I kept snoozing, I would just stay in bed for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and I was just overthinking. So you'll just stay in bed after you snooze, but you don't really fall back asleep. You're unconsciously overthinking everything of the day, and you are worrying about everything that you have to do, but you refuse to get out of bed to start doing those things and get a little bit closer to the life you want to live. As soon as you start applying this, you will start getting yourself out of the hole that you put yourself into. First, micro action, you thinking that you want to do it, so you start counting down. Once you count down and you get to 1, you just get up and do it. Whether it's you're going to go to the gym, you're going to get out of bed, you're going to start working out, whatever it is, once you realize that you want it bad enough that you're going to count down from 5, you are telling your brain that that is what you want to do instead of overthinking. This is a lot more effective than I thought, because of the fact that the bias towards action versus the bias towards thinking, we often get stuck in the thinking phase, the overanalyzing and procrastinating. That is not going to get us anywhere. The 5-second rule will shift your focus from overthinking to immediate action, breaking the cycle of delay. So every single time that you do the countdown from 5 to 1 and you get up and go, regardless of what it is that you're going to do, it is going to help you so much more with feeling the difference of the things that you are getting accomplished, the things that you are getting done. I have kids. They have to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some days I am not in the mood, but they still have to eat. So I have to take a deep breath and get myself to the kitchen and start cooking so they can eat. It is such a silly example, but those things are what will break the cycle of you procrastinating and always having an excuse to do it a little later. Some days it's a lot harder to work towards breaking the cycle of procrastination, but you have to start at a certain point. Breaking the cycle of procrastination can be super hard. Now that I do social media, the times that I've had to sit down in front of the screen when the camera is just staring at me and I'm just procrastinating to not hit the live button, for example, and I literally have to take a deep breath, count from 5 down, hit the button, wing it, and do the best that I can, and that is all that I can do. Again, if I keep procrastinating and I say tomorrow is going to be a better day to go live, or whatever the excuse I have is, I'm never going to make it to my goals or my dreams of my morning show kicking off, of my podcast being successful if I don't continue to record every day and try the best that I can, edit, post it. If I don't do those things, regardless of how good I get, it will not go anywhere because I continue to procrastinate. And I finally realized that it's okay to be a beginner. If I'm just starting this and I am completely winging it, I am trying the best that I can, I show up with the best energy and motivation, and that is all that I can do. I am winging it, I am learning, and I am staying super consistent. I think that is a very big part of the 5-second rule. You cannot just try it once a week and say, oh my God, this could be really good. If every single day when you wake up and you hear that alarm, you get up out of bed and you focus on having the best day ever, that will change your life, and that is what will lead you to success. Finding motivation will help you stay on track for the 5-second rule. Every single day that my alarm goes off at 4 in the morning, do you think I like to wake up at 4? No, I don't. What motivates me, what keeps me going every single day is knowing that I am gonna make it for my kids, for my family, for myself. That is what motivates me. When you find your motivation, it's gonna be so much easier for you to keep pushing, especially on the hard days. I was sharing with my morning show today how I have a friend that was telling me, oh my God, if you would have done this when you were single and you weren't married, you would have made so much more money on social media. And it was just such a wild conversation because I literally looked at her and I was like, no, I wouldn't have. If anyone could imagine how hard I've been working to make this happen because of my family, it is just insane to even imagine trying to work this hard or waking up at 4 in the morning if it wasn't for knowing that I'm gonna make it for my kids. And her just saying that was kind of the red flag that I needed to cut her off, because how dare you tell me coulda, shoulda, woulda done this before settling down because you would have made more? That just blew my mind. And obviously that is a friend that is not settled down, someone that is not married or doesn't have kids. And I'm not saying you have to have kids to be motivated. All I'm saying is that if you are listening to this podcast or you are watching this podcast, if you have kids, I'm sure that is a big percentage of what keeps you motivated and pushing the struggle bus day in and day out. Sometimes you don't even realize how blessed you are, regardless of how crazy the days have been lately. This last week was insane for me, but I took a second to just be a little bit grateful about my family being healthy, us getting it together one day at a time. I have my mother-in-law flying in. Everything is going to settle down a little bit. A lot of things that are just happening. Life just kind of gets thrown your way and you see how you let it affect you in a positive way, in a negative way. But if you take 5 seconds and you just count down, I don't know, take a deep breath instead of exploding because of the circumstance that just happened. Take a deep breath, analyze the situation, and don't react in such a rough way when it's just life. And certain things you do have control over, but most things you don't. So what I recommend is just let it go. Many times it is in your control and you don't do anything about it. Other times you can't do anything about it and you are losing sleep over it. So make sure that you choose your battles, apply the 5-second rule method so that you don't let certain things get to you as bad as they should. 5-second rule can help you with staying sober, with making extra money, with anxiety, with OCD, with not making the wrong choices, with maybe making the right choice. So many things that can change in your life because you took a deep breath and you literally gave yourself 5 seconds and then you made the decision to get up and do it, to not respond in a negative way. It's easy to be in control when you do want to do something or you have the upper hand of the situation. But when you can learn to master taking a deep breath and counting down from 5 seconds when you don't want to do something or when it's a really tough situation, I think that is when you're gonna be on your way to success. And it doesn't matter your age, where you're from, what you do. I think anybody and everybody should be applying the 5-second rule. That will change your life. It has changed mine so much that to me it's unreal. Now that I realize that it is scientifically proven and so many other things that have blown my mind about the 5-second rule, now I understand why it was so critical when I started doing it, not knowing that it was a thing. And now I am super excited to learn more about it and continue to apply it on my daily life. One of my favorite quotes is, "The most dangerous risk of all is the risk of spending your life not doing what you want on the bet that you can buy yourself the freedom to do it later." Let that sink in and you're gonna realize that a lot of people live a miserable life because they're waiting for the future, and sometimes they don't always have that future to live that dreamt life, and it really sucks that that happens to so many people. So make sure you start using the 5-second rule today and start doing the things that you want. If you accept your limitations, you will go beyond them. pretty much step out of your comfort zone, try new things, give it a shot. The 5-second rule, what's the worst that can happen? And don't do it just once or twice. Do it multiple times until it becomes easier for you. Just keep practicing. It will change your life. It did it to me, and it wasn't easy from the beginning. Nobody said it would be easy, but it sure as hell is gonna be worth it. You can literally apply the 5-second rule to anything and everything, and I think it'll help you to become more in control of your own life, because you know if you have to do it, you might as well knock it out, and you will have so much more time in your hands. I feel like most of the time we waste so much time procrastinating and using excuses to not do what we have to do, and it's little things such as getting out of bed, going to the store, doing my makeup, recording a video, editing, posting, cooking. Literally, you can apply it to anything and everything of your daily life, and it will make such a big difference when you start applying it, and you will have more time in your hands because you're done wasting time with procrastination, excuses, and all the BS that we like to tell ourselves that at the end of the day, they are really just excuses. Do what you need to do when no one's watching. You should remember that real growth happens in the quiet moments when you're away from the spotlight. Use discipline and dedication, especially when you're unseen, because you're doing that for yourself. I think this will definitely help us with becoming the best version of ourselves. And don't feel discouraged. Sometimes it takes multiple countdowns for you to finally get your ass up and get moving. Push your ass through those excuses, those feelings, those emotions, the procrastination. Those excuses will rob you from everything your life could have been. Start applying the 5-second rule. I recommend to when you are waking up, if you are one of those snoozers like I used to be, try it. At least try it and let me know how that works for you. The more you practice, the easier it will become. It has been 6 months of me waking up at 4 in the morning, and it has made such a big impact in my life. I feel like I get so much done before my kids wake up, and this is helping me with my long-term goals. It is a little win every single day. Every day that I wake up and I don't snooze and I get up and I start doing what I have to do, I celebrate those wins because it is a matter of 50-50. Either you're gonna snooze or you're not. There's nowhere in between. Either you're gonna do the countdown, you're gonna get out of bed, you're gonna have the best day ever, or you're not. And then you're gonna whine, bitch, and complain about being late to work, about having a rushed breakfast, about whatever it is that you usually complain about, because those are your decisions. You decided to not try applying the 5-second rule and getting out of bed on time and start improving your lifestyle. I have been working a lot in improving myself and having so many people come through the chat and tell me that they needed to hear what I was saying, that I was making a positive impact in their life. So many things that boosted my confidence and my self-esteem, because nobody knows how hard I'm working other than myself. And not only when I show up in front of a camera in front of you guys or when I'm recording my podcast, is that I am putting in the time, the effort, and all of my energies towards this. I have been working off camera and investing in myself, learning, reading, and if you guys know me, you know I'm not the biggest reader, but because I am chasing this, I have been reading so much more. I've been paying attention, I've been taking notes, and those things are building the character that I want to be. Regardless of how many times you think you may be failing, always remember that you learn more from failure than from success, so you shouldn't let that stop you. Failure builds character. The 5-second rule also helps you with building your self-esteem, your character. You just take a deep breath, you count down, and you go for it. Usually I tell you just keep pushing the struggle bus. Some days you just get on that struggle bus and you just floor it, because enough is enough and you have to get yourself out of your comfort zone. If you don't do that, nobody's gonna do it for you. And the last quote I have for you today is, comfort is the enemy of achievement. Start using the 5-second rule. I'm not saying that it's going to be comfortable or it's going to make you happy in the beginning, but it will change your life. You will have more time in your hands because you're done wasting time procrastinating with excuses that will only continue to rob you from the life you could have had. I'm sending you all the best vibes through this podcast. Start counting down from 5 right now and take the first step towards a more productive and motivated you. Remember, every journey begins with a single action. So let's make it happen. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into Mornings with Fer. Make sure to subscribe and share it out to a friend. If you did enjoy this podcast, keep shining, and I will see you on the next episode.